Out if anybody's buying equipment, I see these jackets that are ventilated. What brand is that, do you know?
I do not.
That's why I don't use foundation.
These are great. It's nice and comfortable today, but if you have one of these canvas suits on or jackets, I have both, by the way, I'm not disparaging. That looks like an Ultra Breeze to me. That's the name of the manufacturer. They make really nice jackets. I have one. I have both. I have an Ultra Breeze and this is my new Brushy Mountain one, same kind. These I'm not sure that you won't get stung through. Those you'll never get stung. The bee stinger is not long enough to get through the 3 layers of fabric. But you're standing out on a warm day with a light breeze like this and you feel it coming through. They're really nice jackets. They cost a little more, but I think they're worth it. Just a little commercial there. All right. Jim, I'm going to need a package in a few minutes, okay? I'll let you know. Package. Has anybody not installed a package and is going to do one tomorrow? Soon. If you have not installed a package and you're going to do one soon, come over here next to me so I know who you are.
Normally I do this with a pair of needle nose pliers.
I have top bar hive.
I don't.
I'm good. Nice to meet you. I'm going to grab my hive tool, I think. This one mine? No. I don't know where.
It's over here. Might have taken it over there.
Is it over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's on the ground. I didn't want to stick it in my pocket because it was hot. I went and got the smoker.
Take the box and take that. Either way.
Do I need the smoker for this? No. I don't need the smoker. I do need sugar water. That's a good point. And I don't know where my bottle is, but it's around here somewhere. Okay. Don't need a smoker for this. Listen, when you have a hive full of bees and they are going to give off an alarm scent, I could use my smoker to mask the scent so they don't have a call to alarm. Bees alarm when they're trying to defend their hive. Bees in a package do not have a hive to defend, so they do not need smoke. This is a typical package. Doesn't have any bees in it, but the rest of it is here. I happen to have a couple spare queen cells in it, or queen cages. Don't worry about those for right now. I'll show you why I have them. But this is what it looks like, all you package people, and I'll hand it to you. It has a can in it, and it has a queen. This little strap right here is holding the queen cage. They all look like this. Now some of them have little differences. Sometimes the queen is in a separate hole, and other times she's in the hole with the can. Now there's a pile of bees in here. When you get your package, you want to keep it warm as much as you can. Not hot, don't cook the thing. Just keep it out of the breeze. Keep it in your garage, keep it comfortable, okay? The can has food for the transport. That's what's in it. This is what we're going to do when we open the package. I'm going to stand on this side. Sorry, I have my back to everybody. You're going to open and pry this little thing off. It's just stapled. You're not going to lose this in the technique I'm going to show you. I'm going to go after the can, but I don't want the queen to fall in. If she falls in, you got to take your hand and stick him in all the bees. How do you feel about that? Probably not very good. So I'm going to try and get the ridge. Now sometimes this is a real pain, right? Sometimes it's a pain and you got to fuss with the can. Remember what I did first? What did I do?
Shake the hive. Bang.
Tapped it on the ground so that the bees fell off. I'm going to extract my can up and out. I'm going to go slow, wiggling it so that the bees fall off. Now what's going to happen when I get the can out? Bees are going to come out. It's okay. That's what happens. See, this is what really happens. The can gets stuck and you can't get it out. It's got holes in the top. I could use that later to fill my feeder, but if I set it down, don't set it down where it pours out all over. This was in backwards. Usually it's this way, right? And when you pull it out, it's dripping on you. Turn it over and set it aside. Now I have my queen. I'm going to take my queen out. I'm going to use this other cage for the example. There's going to be bees on this queen. And I'm going to take a look, and I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to push the bees on the cage aside, and I'm looking to see, is my queen alive? Should be a queen in there and a couple attendants. Okay? Yep, she looks good. Sometimes I don't want to touch them. Just a little blow will move them away. You'll know which one's the queen. You can tell the difference. Now these boxes have two ends. One of the ends has candy in it and a cork. You're going to pry the cork off the candy end. Which end?
Candy.
The candy end. You know what the other end doesn't have? Candy. It has a hole. And if you open that cork, she's going to come out. That's not what you want. You want the bees to get acclimated to her. Even though they rode up from Georgia or wherever they came from, they should want to eat the candy out of it and release her. They'll do it in a couple days. Okay? I'm going to take my queen out of the package and I'm going to put her in a warm pocket after I've inspected her. I can knock a couple bees off. Now what I want to do, I'm going to take this off. I have all my bees, they're in here. When I take my queen out, I'm just going to set this on so everybody's not pouring out. Now I'm going to have my hive set up and it's going to be ready to go. There's two ways you could do this. Let me emulate with this hive. I could pull the center frames out, set them aside, somewhere where I'm not going to step on them, and I could take my package, bang my bees down, and then literally dump and shake. I bang them down so that they're in a cluster, and then when I turn them over, I'm going to shake, and I'm going to shake, and I'm going to shake, and I'm going to shake. You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to get every bee out of the box. I'm not. It's not possible. But that's okay. What's going to happen is now all the bees are here. Now if you look at these queen cages, one comes with a strap. They all come with a strap. You could take it off or you could use that to your advantage. Sometimes they come like this and they have nothing. And I've set a little nail in it. See the nail in the side? I'll hand these around, by the way. What did I do with the other one? Oh, the one I put in my pocket. This one, what I've done, or sometimes they come with a little plate on the top. I've actually put a washer on it, see it? Why do I have all these things? Because I have to put my queen inside the box. So there's a couple ways to do this. I could use my nail and I could set it right here. Candy up. I'll tell you why in a second. I could do it that way. I could use my washer and I could set it down here like this and let them hang. Okay? Or I could take this queen here and I could take a push pin and I could put it in and I can hang her. Now the reason you're going to do this is because most of the time you're going to start with frames if you're brand new with no foundation or no comb built out. Okay? So if you have foundation only, you can't do what I'm about to tell you. I could take my hive tool and nick the comb out and then take my queen cage and press it, let me get a different one, and press it literally into the comb and it'll stay put, and then I just put it together. So if you're putting, the question was asked earlier, what do I do when I have a dead out? This was a dead out from last year. Look at the comb, right? It's used. I'm going to use it. So I'll notch it, I'll shove this in, and then I'll put them in. Now, there's a couple, look, queen cage. It has a screen. Everybody sees that? I want the screen to be out so that the bees could get to the queen so that they could feed her while she's being released. So I'm not going to take the screen and push it in. That doesn't make any sense. Now they have no access to her. So I want to put it sideways. If I put it this way and I put the next frame on it, what have I done? trapped her. So it goes in sideways so that the screen can be facing the direction where the bees can get to it. And I'm going to notch it. Now, I brought a little baggie. It has push pins. It has those little black clip things. You know what I'm talking about? I have a, use whatever you have. A rubber band is another method. If I have a foundation frame, pretend there's foundation in this. I could take my queen cage and put it like this, and I can run a rubber band around the whole thing and hold the queen that way, and then when she gets released, I take her out. Now, one last topic about the way you put your queen in. Do not take your queen and put her up against the top bar. She can't get out, and they can't get to her. Make sure she's down at least to the middle of the frame so they have access to her. Okay? So they're putting together a couple foundation frames. The candy is a slow release.
But why do you face it upward?
Okay, good. I didn't answer that. Why do you put the candy upward was the question. If you put it down and they eat through the candy but they don't get through, and for some reason some of the attendants get stung, the dead attendants inside block the hole and the queen doesn't get out. So if you put it up and the attendants die, they fall to the bottom of the cage, but they still can get out. Now you're going to put this in and you're going to put your hive together and you're going to leave it for a couple days. And you're going to come back after 2 or 3 days and you're going to go open and see if the queen is still in the cage. Most of the time she's not. You just pop the queen cage out, put the frames together and close it up and leave it be. Okay? Now, I said on the opening, and I said a couple minutes ago, some people don't like the aspect of banging the cages on the ground. Bees had a hard enough ride coming up from wherever they're going. In this methodology, what I'm going to show you is a way to do it. I learned this method from a video from James 2. He's a writer and a researcher. I think he's retired now, but still a pretty smart guy. He had a video of him installing a package in the rain. And he tried this methodology, and I'm telling you, it was pretty good. Pretty smart way to do it. So here's what he did. This is the no bang method. I have my package together just the way it is. I pop the lid off. I take the queen, I check her, I put her in my pocket. I take the can out. I take my package. I'm going to wreck Bob's thing. I take my package with the bee still inside and I set it in here. Just like this over top of the frames. I have a box with either foundation or frames that are built out, it doesn't matter. And I laid my package on the side. I took my queen and I dipped her in the bees. My queen cage is covered with bees now, okay? And I set it right down here on top of the bar. I'm doing this in a closed box. I'm going to take the box off so everybody could see what I did, and I'll repeat that, okay? But I would do it in a closed box. I take my can out, I pry the lid off, I take my can out, I set it down. I take my queen, I check her, I make sure she's good. The package is covered, I put her in my pocket. I take my package and I lay it down inside the box this way. I take my queen out, and now they're all laying here on the floor, and I stick her in here and I cover her with some bees. I could even just lay her in there a minute until some bees walk onto her. And then I pull it out and I set it right here on top of the frames, and I take my little cover and I put it just like this. I put my box, well, my box is already on here. I've done it inside a box, and I just put the lid on and I let them go. They will come out to the queen and then they will go down to the comb, and you don't have to do anything. No shaking, no banging, no whatever. Okay, let me change the way it looks so you guys on this side could see. I've set my box down, I've dipped my queen, I've set her right here, I've taken my lid and I've set it just like this, and I close the box.
do you put the lid like that?
Just it keeps everything closed so that they can come out and find right to the queen. If I didn't put this here, what difference would it make? Probably not a lot, but I kind of like the idea of that.
I have a stupid question, but so you put that other box over, is over that already?
It's already there.
On top of
Yeah,
that, and then you
yes,
walk away for 4
yep.
days.
I took the box off so you could see what I did, but you would do it with the box sitting on here. I would have done this like this. Now I've done this. I've done what I'm gonna do. I would take my inner cover and I would take my outer cover and I would put my stone on there and I would walk away. So you need 2 boxes for this. Now we're gonna do this in a few minutes with a real package.
What about feeding that new package? When would you start feeding it?
I would leave them a couple days, let them get out, and then go ahead and feed them. When you could take the cage out, then you could put another box in and start feeding them. The question is, when would you start feeding?
Have you done this? With that
We did this last year, similar method.
in 4 days when you come in, if there are any in the...
We're gonna do this now, and before we leave today, they're gonna be in the box.
They will, okay.
Yes.
So you wouldn't put the sugar can back in there?
I would not. I mean, you could.
Yeah.
You could, what you wanna do is take 2 sticks and put it this way, and put it on top of the sticks. Wait, let me take this off. You put 2 sticks here and you put this on top. Why do you need the sticks? So they can get under it, right? All right, let's do this. I think they're probably done with foundation over there, yeah? Bob wanted to put a couple foundations in. So this is called a hands-on meeting because I'm going to pick one of you to be hands-on. So anybody want to be Atlanta Brave and come on over? Come on over. Let's pull some frames out. Put 5 or 6 frames in the middle. Just look at the frame, make sure it's good. Now we're using these frames. You'll see some of them have some pollen in them. This one has a little bit of mold. I'm not worried about that. Like we said, they'll clean it up. Here's some old pollen in this one. Old moldy, crusty.
Are you going to put any new ones in there?
We are. They're building them over there.
Okay.
Bob, are you ready? Are you close? Yes. Okay. If you look in there, you'll see, hand that around, you'll see some pollen in some of those cells. It's yellow-orange.
Is old pollen all right?
Yep. If you want to pass that around, there's pollen inside that frame. There's,
Kevin, these 7 have foundation.
okay. Yeah. Bob, you got a better bottom board, or you care? Well, Bob will blue tape that. Don't worry.
It's the mouse.
I think it's the mouse guard.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's Bob's magic mouse guard.
That's what that is, that's a mouse guard.
How do you want to? Do you want to put the frames like that and put the foundation on the outside?
Yes. Well, no, I would put the foundation here. Then I would put a couple of the drone cones.
How many you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. Okay.
This would be a 10 frame box.
Put that one there. This is a foundation. No, this one had foundation. They chewed a hole. Sometimes they chew holes so they have pathways.
They're amazing little creatures.
They are. We'll center them in the box. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're good. Here's a hive tool. Okay, here we go, real deal. What we did, just so you know, put 5 frames in the middle. There's 3 frames of foundation, and we put 2 built ones on the outside. One of these has, you were asking about drone. It has a little drone built around the outside edge, so we put that to the outside because that's where they would build drone. This is a package of bees. It looks just like the one I showed you, but it has bees in it. It's pretty good. Now, you're going to look at this if you've never seen one, and you're going to say, there's no queen in there, and you didn't know there was a can. But you guys got to cheat because we showed you what it looks like before you had bees in it. Okay? So we're going to go through the process now. I want to show you something. What's this? Yeah, queen's in here on that tab. Okay? Now, there's one thing I didn't talk about. Sugar water. 1-to-1 mix. 1 part water, 1 part sugar.
By weight.
You can or cannot, can or don't have to, I should say, use this. Almost any package installer will tell you on a warm enough day, this is what they would recommend, is a couple squirts. On both sides, especially if you're dumping the package in. Why do you do that? Go ahead.
Does it keep them occupied where they clean each other off?
Yes, keep them occupied. They get wet, they don't fly, and they also groom each other, and all they've had to eat was what was in the can. So it gives them something to eat also. Now, one of the things I will say to you is I have a different use for this because we're not going to have to spray the bees. We're going to let them walk out on their own. What else could I use it for? Spray the frames, make it a little more enticing. Okay, so I'm going to give you the task. You're the taskmaster. Go ahead and spray them up. Go ahead and spray them. Spray them, spray them.
Spray 'em.
Yeah, let them have some. Just a little sugar water to give them a taste. Again, not necessary, but your choice.
Just 1 frame or multiple?
Do a bunch of them. Do like the 5 in the middle.
Is that a 2-to-1 solution?
It's 1-to-1.
1-to-1.
That's
So I heard,
Yeah.
this is a common question. I feed my bees, how do I mix my sugar water? If you ask, the general principle is it doesn't matter whether it's by weight or volume when it's small enough. If I'm mixing 55-gallon drums, I want to do it differently. But for you, it doesn't matter. 1 part water to 1 part sugar is generally the same thing as 1 part water to 1 part sugar by volume. Right? Volume or weight, it doesn't matter. So don't fuss over that. Take a cup of water and a cup of sugar and you're good to go. In the fall, it's 2-to-1, 2 parts sugar, 1 part water. But in the spring, you want to use a 1-to-1 mix because it's closer to what the mixture is for nectar coming out of the plants. All right, we're good to go here. So let's,
This too. Here's some sugar water here. We'll put it in the bottom. Doesn't matter.
in the bottom of.
No, you can put in either box you want.
Okay. We're going to put a feeder in. I pulled 1 frame. This is an internal feeder. This is what Bob uses. He didn't use top feeders. It's a frame feeder. Okay? It's got little ladders on it. You pour the sugar water in here and it holds it and the bees walk down in the hole and get it that way. So he wanted to preset this up for that. That has a ladder. I don't know if I can get it out.
Short answer, yes. Sometimes the bees will drown in there.
They came up with this method rather than just having a hole where the bees could walk down. It's like their ladder to walk down, but yes, they still drown in these things. It's the way of life, unfortunately.
But then you'd have to open up your whole hive to replenish it as opposed to.
Right, as opposed to a top feeder. But sometimes, listen, how cold was it this morning? 27 degrees. And if the water gets chilled on the top, they may not take it. Having an internal where it's 90-something degrees where the brood is will keep it warm enough and viable. So in early spring, an internal feeder does make some sense. Okay?
Yeah, the other thing is, when you feed it, you only have to do
Yeah, I'll yeah,
You just dump right in there.
yeah. Do you have the hot tool or do I?
I have it.
You have it, okay. Go ahead and pry the top off. So while he's prying the top off, Bob just made the point that when you want to feed, all you have to do is take the top cover off and slide this that much. Everybody see that? I know it's blocked over here, so let me move this. When you want to feed the bees, all you have to do is take your inner cover and slide it over, pour your stuff and slide it. You're not letting all the heat out, and a lot of bees are not escaping. So this is stapled. You're not going to drop the queen, it's stapled. That's thoughtful of whoever built this package, because sometimes they don't. So see if you can get in there and pry that, but be careful not to damage the can, like bend the can. I will tell you the hardest part of installing a package is to get the thing out, but you gotta, I'm gonna hold it, hold on a second, hold on. You didn't shake it. Grab the box itself.
Okay.
And just give it a shake. Hard one. Yeah, good. Okay. Now go ahead and pull it out. Slightly. Okay. Not too bad. He's got an A grade so far. That can's pretty empty. That means they ate a lot. So now you got to get your queen.
Okay.
So go ahead and take your hive tool, pry that staple out, and let's see what she looks like. A couple bees will escape. It's not the problem. Watch the staples that I left sticking up, but that keeps them. Okay, got the queen. Give it a little blow. How's the queen look?
She's active.
Is she marked?
Yes.
What color is she this year?
White.
White.
Oh, she's white?
She's white this year.
That's right.
Okay?
Gotta get used to that.
Yes.
So go ahead and pass her around. Let everybody take a look at what she looks like over here.
Are these Italian?
Yeah.
They look Italian looking. They're from Georgia.
Oh, from Georgia?
Yep.
Georgia?
And she has the white mark on it.
Okay, we can go ahead and so this queen came from the producer marked. She's white. White signifies this year, 2016. Last year it was green. Blue? Blue. It's green the year before. There's charts on the internet, but why would you mark a queen?
Easy to find.
It makes her easier to find. Her age. The other thing is, if they replace her and you find a queen that's not marked, you know that you had a supersedure or something happened, right? If for some reason your package doesn't work, you lose your queen, I still recommend if they build you a replacement that you mark her so that you know that she got replaced. How do you mark her was a question from the crowd. There's a little device like a plunger. It has a foam thing. You scoop her up and you push her up against the mesh, and then you take a marker and you mark her that way. Mark her on the thorax. Listen, best answer to this question is go to our YouTube channel and look up YouTube or look up the marking. This is what it looks like. You go and scoop her off the comb. You take the sponge and you squeeze her up to the top gently, don't smush her. And then you take your marker and you mark her through the hole. And sometimes she'll play dead. And then she'll come back magically to life.
Last year you marked one and it like, oh my God, she's
We thought we killed her.
like
We knew better.
for her to move. I was so surprised.
All right, do we have our queen back?
She's in my pocket.
Okay. So I'm not going to, we're just going to lay her.
Okay.
No push pin. I'm not going to put the box on. When you do this at home, put the box on and then set it in, but so you can see what we're doing. All right, go ahead and turn your package on its side.
Oh. Is that feed a fill?
He's got the queen in his pocket. He's got the queen. You can lay that right here. You're going to need it in a
Feeder
second.
filled or not?
This? No. You got to set it in enough that it's not on this outside edge. Now, that's good. Now take your queen out of your pocket and dip her around in there until she has a lot of bees on her. You could leave her in the tab. Wait, hold on. Sorry. What did we miss? We didn't take the cork. Which end?
Candy.
There you go.
Thank you.
Make sure you got the candy end.
Side, right?
How do you know the candy end?
Because it is.
It's white. It's really easy to see. I'll take the cork if you would. Thank you. He's going to dip the queen. Get her covered with bees. And then he's going to bring her out. What's the purpose of dipping the queen in the bees? Pheromone. So what you'll see is when they bring it out and he sets it down here, these bees will start scenting, saying, I've found my queen. And it'll draw the other ones out. So if you can't see from over here, you're welcome to walk over. But he did what we showed before. He's just going to put the lid over it. And they're good to go. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to close the box up. We're going to go install another swarm real quickly in that top bar over there. I'll show you how to do one of those. Anybody have a top bar?
I do.
One, good. You ever do it?
No.
Okay,
Show you.
we'll show you. Go ahead and put that over it. And I suspect later when we come back in about an hour, you'll see the bees are pouring out and going in the hive. Okay?
Kevin, do you ever suggest putting a pinhole in the box maybe at all?
That's the whole thing.
I've had people, the question was, can you put a pinhole in the,
Fill the feeder.
okay, go ahead. Bob's going to fill the feeder beforehand. The question is, can you do a pinhole in the candy to help them? Yeah, there's people who recommend that. What's the problem if you use a nail and you do it wrong? You kill your queen. But it does help them get out a little quicker. It's your option. I generally don't think it's necessary, honestly, but
Kevin, with this method, when you come back and the queen has been out, then you would take that top frame off and put your inner cover and your lid back on there.
yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about what happens when we're done.
Good to go.
You'll come back in a couple days, the queen will be out. There might be somebody meandering still inside the cage. Take the cage out. You don't have to fuss with them. Set the cage out and just lean it against the front entrance of the hive. The smell from inside of the hive will draw the bees out and they'll go inside. If you come back and the queen is not out and the bees are still in the cage, then use the dump method. If it's cold, today happens to be gorgeous. If it was last week where it was 30 degrees and you're going to do this, I would recommend you dump them. Get them down in the hive. Don't leave them in the pack. And people put boxes on top. And the top is the honey and the bottom is the brood chamber. I have here what Bob created is just, first off, let me tell you what a top bar looks like. It's a simple bar. He's got popsicle sticks. Sometimes people wax these, sometimes they don't. Your choice. When you put your own wax on, sometimes people say the wax doesn't affix as good as if the bees did it themselves. So Bob went on natural, no wax on his. He did, however, give a place for them to come to, and he just simply rubber banded some old wax on here so that when they get in, they'll come up and have a place. They'll affix that comb and then they'll start building the other comb. So let me tell you verbally the process. I am going to dump the bees in here. Dump. And I'm going to dip the queen. And then I'm going to hang the queen from one of the bars. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread the bees out in here. And when I spread them out, I'm hoping to coax them up to come up and join the queen. And then when they're all festooning from the queen cage off, they'll start building wax and they'll build it down. That's the process.
Explain the reason for the comb in there.
Yeah. I have a bag with rubber bands and pins and clips I think it's in my blue thing. Can I get that? I need something to be able to hang the queen, Bob. Listen, it's in the blue ResMed bag, my camera bag. It should be in the front pouch, I believe.
What's the advantage to doing it this way as opposed to kind of like the hives built up in the boxes?
Yeah, so why a top bar? That's an interesting question. That's a question I just got. Langstroth box was built for commercial operations and for beekeepers. It was built by Lorenzo Langstroth. But this is probably the more native way. Remember, bees were in a tree. People would lay their trees down, and this is what they had. The advantage of this is I don't have to lift any boxes, right? It does have a different methodology. Remember what we said about lifting the frames? You have to be more careful and whatever, but some people just prefer this because they don't have to do any lifting. And these things come in different sizes. The one that I have at home is probably almost twice as long as this.
Mine are very large too.
So this is a medium-sized one. Bob has a nice patio one that's maybe a third smaller, and it's a beautiful little hive. They're a lot of fun, these hives, to play around with. Jim, can I have the package, please? Pretty simple to build, low cost to build. You could build them out of scrap wood. A lot of times people like to build them out of thick wood. This is 1 inch at least. It's got a rough interior. And the idea hopefully is that you set it at 30-degree angles so the bees don't attach the comb as they go through.
And you pour it in a storm. That's all we got.
Okay.
Nails and some rubber bands in there if you need them.
Okay.
Yeah, but what keeps them from swarming? Like, is it bigger?
You harvest stuff from them and give them space. Thanks.
I had learned from a teacher many years ago to rub lemon balm inside before you put the bees
Yeah.
in. Have you heard that?
I have. You can rub propolis along the insides and other things too. I'm just going to spray this with sugar water. Again, making it enticing. Actually, if one of you guys wants to come try this, anybody that hasn't.
bottoms? All of the,
This one has a screen, some of them don't.
Okay.
Anybody want to do this?
Hey, man, up for it, I'll do it.
People will tell you it's green bottom board and top bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, mine has the bottom board and then the
But
screen
am I
on
good?
top, and the bottom board drops.
You'll be fine. I won't get
Yeah,
you stung, I promise.
circulation.
Okay, go ahead and pry that off.
Ooh, I'm wrecking it.
It's okay. We're not going to use it again. It's just a piece of cheap plywood. Okay. Let me shake it down.
Are you going to spray them?
Yeah. Go ahead and take the can out. All right, so I don't want these bees to fly, so I am going to spray them. Some people say soak them. I'm just going to lightly spray them. I've saturated them in the past and I've just lightly sprayed them. I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
This is very heavy.
It is.
It's caught.
It's just take your time and let it come. It'll come.
Feels like it's caught on something.
Yeah. I'm just going to leave it here for a second. Hold it. Thank you. Go ahead. Okay. Want to go ahead and pry the queen off? She's stapled there. Here, let's take the actual staple, if we can get it. There we go. Go ahead and pull the queen out. Where's Rick at? Is Rick, when you took my stuff apart, did you see that bag with the pins and the rubber bands? It should be a small Ziploc.
I couldn't find anything.
No? Okay.
Do you want
Didn't
more
you show it to us earlier?
How's the queen?
Good.
She's good in there?
Yep.
Yep, she looks good.
Do you just need a rubber band?
I wanted the actual push pin so I could hang her from this. I don't think I could nail.
Kevin, I thought you took it.
It's a small Ziploc bag. If anybody wants to go see if you could find it. It might be in the top of my thing over there. I don't know. Yep. Just make sure there's no bees on it. That's the queen with the white dots here. Go ahead and put her in your pocket.
God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Putting a bee in my pocket on purpose.
Okay, here we go. Ready? So this one, I am going to tap down, because when you tap them down, they get more compact, and then when I shake them out, they tend to fall out all at once. If you don't tap them down, it's tough when you try to shake them out and you jostle more bees. So, no, it's a clear sandwich bag. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it, guys. I'll use a rubber band. Go ahead, take it out.
Just lift this off.
Yep. Tap it on the ground, just lightly, tunk.
With the hole up.
Yep. Good. Turn it over and dump them in. Like, hold it this way. Okay, ready? And shake like this. Go ahead. Go ahead and take it out, tap it one more time.
On the ground.
Yep. Wait, the other way. Use the bottom of it. Blow those bees off the bottom. Just tap it on the corner. Go ahead. Tap it. Tap it harder than that. Get them down in there. That's it. Now dump them. That's it. Thank you. All right, I'll take the queen now, if you would.
What do I do with this? Just leave it.
Just leave it right there for now. Hand me the queen, if you would. I'm going to take the queen and I'm going to attach her to the top bar and I'm going to let her hang with a little push pin. And I'm going to just put her in here. Up, what did I forget?
The candy, yeah.
The cork on the candy end. Now the candy end is down here. Would you take these and just set them across here? No, these ones that are on top. Let's close it off a little so less bees fly.
Tab down.
Whoops.
Okay, that's good. I'm going to take the queen, and what am I going to do with her? I'm going to dip her in the bees.
So it doesn't matter if it's upside down?
No, not in this case, it doesn't.
Okay.
They can't get in because the lid's in front of them.
Now I'm going to take the queen, and I'm going to put her in between those two combs. You can take this off right now. Go ahead and set it on the ground. I'm going to put her right here. I'm going to do one more thing before I finish. Actually, I got to do that differently. I want to be able to close the thing, so I'll pin it to the bottom.
What if you have a completely new hive and no comb?
It's okay. You would just do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I'm going to do one more thing, and actually I don't have to. I would have taken my hive tool and spread the bees apart, but they've already walked up all the sides. So now what I'm going to do is just close this off. Now, Bob, do you have a follower board for this, or is it the whole thing?
Yeah, what do we do with these?
It's okay, they'll come back. This is a follower board. It lets me make a smaller cavity out of the hive. I'm going to set this in here. I'm going to make sure when I set it down that I'm not crushing bees. So I'm pressing lightly on top of the back of the bees to get them to move. and then I'm just going to let it rest. And that's it. Now what will happen is they'll come out, surround the queen. We're going to set that near the entrance on something.
Right here.
And in a couple days, they'll come through. We'll see if we can find something to set that on. But for now, you can set it on the ground. What'll happen is, let's see if we can see any of this.
They're just going.
You're going to see them scent. They'll be lined up here. Their tail ends will be in the air, and they'll be scenting to tell everybody she's in here. So now what they're doing, now what I'm going to do is just take this. Oh. Try not to mush any bees.
That's more activity with the top bars than with the other.
Because I dumped the bees,
Yeah.
right? Look how many bees are up in the air.
Yeah.
Now look at the bees, what are they doing? Look at how these bees are flying, what are they doing?
They're circling.
Why are they circling?
No, they're getting their bearings.
They're getting their bearings. They're looking at the hive, they're looking at the sun, they're looking at the landscape, they're orienting. Eventually they'll get the scent and they'll come back in here, or they'll go into some of the other hives. Okay?
So when would you put the top on then?
Right now.
Okay.
I need a brush though, I want to brush these bees off. Am I missing some of the frames, Bob? Bob, am I missing some of the top bars?
Yes, that's all we have.
Okay.
When would you move this one out?
They're going to build that up. They'll collapse in there. I may even move this in a little closer at some point, give them a smaller space to start in and keep warm. And then I'll continue to build it as they grow the hive. They'll start building those frames down one at a time. Thank you. When you work with a bee brush, flick, not sweep. Flick. If I asked you to move, you'd be better with, can you please move? Versus, I'm going to grind you along. Okay? So flick. I'm going to set this a little catty quarter. Just let these bees find a way out for now. That'll do it. Now, when you get a chance, come look at the entrance at some point. You'll see bees like this one that was here with its tail end in the air, scenting. And eventually, you know, some of them may go back in here. What was in here recently? The queen. So it might have some scent, but eventually they'll figure out to go in here.
And what about feeding?
And you want to feed these as soon as they start to get established. You're going to want to feed this through spring. You put something like a chicken feeder, you put the can on a couple things like we said before and turn it over. We'll feed this hive before we leave today.
Well, there's plenty of room because there's no foundation drawn up, right?
There's plenty of room. Sometimes I use a hummingbird feeder. It works really well for this.
And you just set it right inside there?
And you set it inside the follower board so they can have access to it.
What's preventing cross-combing?
Cross-combing? Nothing. You're now at the mercy of what we said before. You know, it is possible that they're going to cross-comb this. This is Eco Wood treatment. It's a paint treatment, but it's not paint. This hive is painted with Eco Wood. If you're building boxes, you haven't built them out yet, you might want to try this if you don't want to paint. Only takes one application, you mix it with water. That's what the hive trap is painted with also. So,
Where'd you get that from, Kevin?
they sell this at Home Depot, they sell it at Hudson Valley Bee Supply, I think Kelly has it.
Yes, they do.
They do have it, you have to order it from online.
Pick it up.
You can't get it in the store. They will ship it to you, but you can get it from Home Depot.
There's no VOC stains you can put on too, that my daughter was able to find. If you want a tincture.
Any questions? about the package install stuff. All right, we're good.
How long would you leave the queen hanging there?
Once she's out,
Then you 3 or 4 days?
she'll be out in a couple, same directions. Leave them for a couple days, come back, check the queen. If she's not out, poke a hole in the candy. Now, you want to be more careful with this one, right? The way that I could have changed it. I want you all to understand something. I hung the candy upside down. Didn't I tell you not to do that? I could have taken the time, take that strap off, switch it to the other side, staple it. I didn't. I would at home. But because you're all standing here, I don't want to leave you standing here while we're doing it. We might switch it later. I would recommend that you do that. Or go back later and make sure your queen can get out. Okay? I didn't take the time, but we will.
Kevin, I did have a situation once where the candy fell down and
Yeah.
crushed the queen, even though it was on the
Oops.
top.
Yeah.
It wasn't a dead bee that got it, the candy actually got it. Have you seen that at all, Evan?
I don't think I've ever heard anybody tell me that before, so. If that happens, you can probably call the queen provider and
Yeah, I did get
cry,
away.
and they'll send you one.
I always put it on an angle now. I don't know if that matters.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to take a quick break for 5